Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the locker room. We haven't done it in a while, and I mean, there couldn't be a better bloke to do it when it comes to the return episode. Blake Green, how you going, brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Mate, welcome to the studio. What do you think?
It's off the charts, man.
It's cool, eh?
Just the exposed brick and then the walls like that just makes me feel like I'm in a little man cave at home.
Mate, that's what I wanted. I wanted, like, when people to come here, they sit down, they go, this is actually the dream place as a bloke.
Mate, it's got the size of the TV behind me.
100-incher. Totally don't even use it. Yeah. We don't even use it. It's you know what? It's the penis of the whole room. When you walk in, that's the large flaccid penis just sitting there, letting you know that the big dog lives here.
It's impressive. It's impressive.
It's actually compensating for something else, but we won't go into that. Mate, how have you been? You obviously retired about a week ago.
Yeah, about a week ago. It's been good.
Yeah.
To be honest, mate, I've mixed emotions. I guess the first sort of couple of days I was a bit emotional, a bit sad, but just a sense of relief, to be honest. It's all over. No more stress. So just doing the normal things that, you know, I probably didn't get to do as much, you know, playing footy. I get to see me young bloke play footy on Saturdays now and take him to training, take him to school.
How good's that?
Yeah, it's actually so good.
Yeah.
It's actually so good.
Mate, it's crazy the little things that, you know, you don't, like, a lot of people may focus on running out in front of 50,000 people, which is incredible. It's incredible. But it's a little tiny human parts of your life that you don't get, like, you know, eating whatever you want or spending an extra hour kicking the footy with your son or whatever like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly going to miss the rush that, you know, just from running out into the stadium, especially the packed house ones. Like, that's going to be hard to replicate.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the simple joys, mate. I guess I'll probably be doing it for a few months and I'll get over to the school pickup.
You'll be filthy.
Yeah.
You're like, take the bus, son, honestly.
Please walk. Just
Mate,
walk, man.
Back in my day, I used to literally walk through 10 Ks of snow to get to school. And they're like, mate, you didn't even live in an area that had snow. But the snow came. It was there when I was younger.
It's already happened. I've been retired a week and I'm starting to use that phrase already back in my day.
You know what's crazy is, like, all the little things that your parents used to do. You start doing what your parents, you're like, what is going on?
All the things my dad used to do that irritate me, I'm starting to turn into him, which is a bit of a concern.
So the retirement, how did it come about? You know, you only just signed. Well, it was so interesting because you signed with Newey.
Yep.
And then you signed with the Doggies, but then you decided to stay at Newey.
Yep.
How did the retirement come about? Because it seemed like when you stayed at Newey, it was because of a long-term goal of, like, wanting to be a part of helping the club bounce back into the 8 kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, you know, just really bad timing, really. When I went there sort of 3 games in and tore my ACL. So I got a really good relationship with Trent Barrett, and, you know, him going to the Bulldogs and taking over. He needed to start the pre-season and start the year strongly, and I just thought it wasn't the right thing to do for me to be there and potentially miss at that stage, or, you know, miss half the year, I guess. And he needed a leader. He needed someone to drive the standards that he wanted to put in place, his style of play every day in the pre-season, and I wasn't going to be able to do that for him. So, and, you know, Adam O'Brien was, you know, more than happy for me to stay at the Knights and do my rehab and hopefully sort of play a role there. So I guess the first part worked out. I stayed at the Knights to play a role there. But it's just to guess, not everyone gets a fairy tale.
And so when did it begin to dawn on you, wow, this could be it?
It happened. It happened really fast. Looking back on it, once I did my knee, I was so determined to not let it define me. So I just jumped into the rehab straight away. But I went pretty hardcore for about 8 months. Did a really good job. The rehab team up there did a great job with me. But it zapped a lot of energy out of me. I actually didn't realise it until it finished. I just felt real flat. And then I think I've mentioned it, you know, in my statement when I retired, that I just lost my go button. I just, you know, I could still see everything. I just couldn't get there as fast as I needed to. And I just thought, you know, I only come back and played 4 or 5 games. And I just thought to myself, like, you know, if I want to be a leader, you know, of the team, and I still got an aspiration to jump into coaching, things like that down the track. One of my sort of values is going to, you know, tell the truth, be honest, So I didn't want to bluff my way through the rest of the year, and I just told the team how I felt, and I literally just made a decision.
Wow. So a big part of the decision to retire was I can't lie to the boys if I myself know that I'm not up to where I should be, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, if I felt I couldn't contribute the way I used to be able to, and I reckon I sort of got 3 or 4 games in, and I thought I can't play another 13 or 14 doing this. Especially if in my position I'm telling people to effort based and set standards, and they've got to do this, do that. And if I can't do it myself, what am I? It's not the right thing to do, man.
100%.
So I hopefully I thought that if I do it this way, at least I'll get more respect from the team by being upfront and honest. And then, if there's a situation that ever arises down the track where I, get a chance to coach one of these guys, maybe that, that sort of respect will still be there.
Absolutely. And I guess also from the Knights' perspective as a club, when you're trying to set standards and you've got a bloke like yourself who could have easily just said, no, I'm going to see the contract out, you're going to keep playing footy because that's what I want to do selfishly. Yeah. If you're trying to set standards as a club, you can say, boys, we had our leader, one of our leading players, our senior players, choose to step down because he felt he wasn't meeting those standards. So why aren't you meeting those standards? It's a good standard setter for the club. Yeah,
perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping, the impact that it was going to have. So, and, to be honest, Adam O'Brien was my assistant coach, at the Storm.
Yeah.
And he was the attack coach. So we had a really good relationship, and, mate, I couldn't lie to him. I couldn't bluff my way through it. So I just told him how I felt, and just went from there.
Was there at a time when it was like, it's happening? You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing you're saying internally, I'm retiring or whatever, but to actually voice it to someone.
The hardest part.
Yeah.
Hardest part. My heart knew it.
Yeah.
In my heart, I knew it was the right thing to do. It was hard convincing me head to get the words out. So I think that's where the emotion come in. So we played the Cowboys on a Thursday night. So I had 3 days to sort of think about it.
Yeah.
And I got to Sunday, and I made my mind up. So
yeah. Who'd you tell first, your missus?
She knew. She knew.
She
knew.
Because you were kind of discussing it a little bit with her?
Yeah, bits and pieces of it.
Yeah.
I think she knew how I felt. And to be honest, I just didn't want to feel. I take loss. I'm pretty competitive. I take losses pretty bad. So I'm not a good person to be around when I lose.
Yeah.
Not many footy players are, to be honest. So and I just didn't want to feel like that anymore. And because I felt I wasn't able to have. Wasn't be able to have the same influence over games and results. I thought, well, I need to take this. I've got no control. I haven't got the same amount of control I used to have. So, I did it, and I think Adam might have been first person.
They called.
Told Adam. And
what was his reaction? Kind of like, I kind of get it, or?
He was really good. Yeah, he was really good. So, he understood from the start. He appreciated the fact that I was upfront and honest. I don't think he sort of anticipated it happening as in that day that I told him, but I just said it needs to happen. I'm not going to play another one.
And so, are you still training with the boys in that, or just helping out here and there, or just having a break?
So I'm just going to have a break for a little bit. I just needed some time just to digest it, spend some time with family, and I just thought the best thing would be to sort of step back from the group as well. I just, they need to feel their own way and
absolutely
and do their own thing. But we got Jake Clifford's just come to the club, so. I'm going to spend some time with him. We got young Phoenix Crosland. So I'm, it's pretty well documented, mate. I'm a bit of a footy head. I love the footy. So I've just been spending a bit of time with Jake and just talking about the game and walking around the field and some weird things like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to, I want to stay in the game as a coach in some capacity. So that's the plan.
And so walk us through the Knights year. So much promise, and you could argue that yous have actually gone worse this year than last year. Yeah.
What
do you think? Because, that your preseason looked tough as anything. Yeah. And obviously it's still a long year, It's still a long year. You can absolutely make the 8. So it's not like, sitting there going, the world's ending. Yeah. But even internally, you guys have, even your coach has kind of said, look, we just aren't where we were last year. What do you think has happened?
Yeah, I don't know. If I could put my finger on it, everyone would be able to fix it. But, I think the impact of having... having Junior out,
massive. Obviously,
it's a big thing. If you take the 7 out of any side, it's a big thing. you know, Edric Lee hasn't played a game and Heimel Hunt hasn't played a game. And I think last year they were the top two, you know, meter makers for the footy team.
Huge part of
which
footy.
is a huge part of the game. Like the wingers are just, or the back five are massive in terms of how they carry the ball. So, you know, that certainly had an impact. We've had a lot of young guys come into those positions too. So, you know, I think KP's only played 3 or 4 games as well. That when you got someone as talented as him, he needs to be playing.
And also a guy like KP, he needs to play consecutive. A lot of people underestimate, a lot of fans underestimate just a year of footy.
Mate.
Just a solid year of footy. You would be surprised at, let's say that year isn't great. Let's say it's just a solid year. The next year is when you see incredible things. Look, a guy like Tedesco, he came to the Roosters and he was pretty quiet initially. And he just needed a solid year of footy, new systems, and then obviously we saw what happened. And I think, you know, that's a similar situation with KP.
Well, when Teddy came to the Roosters, he sort of, I guess, played a lot of that layered shape at the Tigers, and then I don't know whether it was, you know, Robbo that sort of changed his game, but all of a sudden he just started, you know, hanging around the middle of the field, jumping out dummy half and first receiver, and his game changed a whole heap. So it takes time. You know, don't forget, Kalen's come to the club, played a few games on the wing. He come down as a fullback, fair bit of pressure, had a little go at 5'8", changed coaches, and he had a big shoulder operation. He's young. He had a big shoulder operation, and he come back, and out of the 3 or 4 games he had 2 complete days out for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's everyone knows how much of a special talent he is. He's just going to keep getting better and better, but as you said, he just needs to play some more footy.
They just need some time. And also, again, he's a player that needs to know, like, okay, for example, if he's got Mitchell Pearce there's certain ways he's going to play compared to having, say, Phoenix. Phoenix is young, just trying to find his feet as well. So, you know, a lot of people are like, well, you know, it may sound like excuses or whatever. Not excuses. These are just reasons why or where we can kind of, when this group gets back together, then if we are still having those problems, it's like, okay, these are real problems then.
Well, in terms of style of play, I reckon as well, Kay's always loved to sort of play down one side of the field. He loves playing on the left-hand side of the field. He's got good feet, rips the ball to the winger. And I just think the way the rule changes and the way the game's changed, fullback is just, you look at all the good teams, or you look at all the teams, their fullback is probably their best player.
Yeah, it's true.
It's their standout player. And I think that you'll see that they're going to have to play on the ball a bit more instead of locking down sides. A lot of teams used to play, you know, one half on the ball and have sort of your 5'8" and your fullback as your sort of edge holders. Where I think now it's going to flip. You can almost go 7 and 6 split and just let your one do his thing. So that's a transition thing for Kay as well. So he hasn't been able to, you know, have enough sort of reps at doing that. And so when he comes back and Mitchell comes back, I reckon it'll be interesting to see how we go.
Yeah, and it'll definitely release him to be that. You know, if Pearcey's taking care of a lot of the structured stuff, you know, you got KP that can just go, all right, I don't have to worry about that. I'm just going wherever. That
he's a freestyler, man. He literally just needs to go and do his thing. You know, he's intelligent too. He knows the game. But if we if he locks himself down to one side defensively, I'm double teaming him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chucking the fullback in on his side, and he's got so many numbers. So
So take us back to a young fella born in Fairfield.
Yes.
Born in Fairfield.
Yep. Grew up in Greystanes. Just a pretty normal childhood, mate. I'm just a Western Sydney boy.
Yeah.
So I always loved footy. I didn't have a whole heap else going on, really. I just, school and footy.
Who was your team?
Mate, I was a little bit like my career, to be honest, man. I just sort of chopped and changed. Whoever was winning. I actually had a heap of footy jerseys, like just of me. I probably had favourite players more than anything. I loved Alfie when I was young.
So good.
I loved Laurie Daly. I loved Paul Harrigan, Andrew Johns, Trent Barrett. You know, those guys as I got older. So. I just had all my favourite players and their jerseys on at the time.
So it sounds like from a really young age you were a lover of football, you know, rugby league rather than, which is kind of like a step deeper than just a fan of a team kind of thing. Yeah,
well, my family were big Para fans growing up. So obviously I was in the area, so like I was always a fan of Parramatta, but yeah, I just loved, there was, you know, certain players that just stood out for me. I loved them. So that was me sort of birthday, Christmas present every year, was just get me favourite players. And so was it always rugby league is in the sense of like, you know, from a very young age you were hoping to play NRL, or was it more just I love playing footy with my mates? Nah, that was my thing. That's what I wanted to do. So, I went to Westfield Sports High for rugby league. So, probably from the age of 12, I'd made my mind up. That's what I wanted to do. I used to do a heap of swimming.
Swimmer.
Yeah, which was
Worst sport in history.
The worst sport in history,
Mate, you got to get in a pool every morning. It's fucked. It's so shit.
It was. So I was pretty good at swimming, but when it got to the stage where I got to about sort of 15, it was sort of every morning, every afternoon.
Yeah.
So it was too full on, mate. It was
Mate,
sort
it's a
of
tough
7
gig.
Ks.
They don't get enough respect. Like, I just bag the shit of them because I don't want to get in cold water every morning. But when you actually look at, they're so fit, man. It's unbelievable. And the training they do.
For the amount of effort that they have to put in versus, reward, they get very little money. The ones that get money, you pretty much need to win a gold medal and be the best in the world, not just
crazy.
Australia, in the world to get an Uncle Toby sponsor.
Yeah.
It's a tough gig, mate.
Oh, mate, just always cold. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I don't like cold water.
Mate, I just don't like the cold in general. And also, like, you're getting in, you're all wet, and your like ears are all blocked up, and your eyes are all fucked. Like, mate, honestly, they're all maniacs. They're all maniacs. But also, huge respect because you're tougher than me. Exactly. Okay, so at what point did the goal or the dream become a reality in the sense of, were you making rep sides or...
Yeah, I was a talented kid at footy. I got picked in all those sort of junior rep sides. Sort of signed at Parramatta when I was about 15. Played in the Aussie schoolboys and stuff like that when I was 18. So, like, in terms of progression, I was heading in the right direction. I come straight out of school. I finished my HSC in sort of October, November, and I went straight into full-time training. Back then, they had like 40-man squads. I was probably
big
I was number 40. I was way down the bottom. But, mate, so I've never had a job. I've never knew anything else. So straight into that. Brian Smith was, head coach at Parra at the time.
So what was the phone call like of your coming into the first grade squad? Do you remember that, or do you remember the feeling of being like, oh shit, I'm part of the first grade squad?
Oh, I was real nervous. So Parramatta used to have like a pathway program, called the Jets program. They did, and there was boys my age were in that, so sort of around the 18-year-old age group were in that, and they trained separately in the morning. So none of my friends were in there. So I was a real sort of shy, timid, anxious kid. I wanted to sort of please everyone. So it was a nervous time for me, mate. To be honest, I wasn't confident enough to say, yeah, oh, this is me. I was pretty scared early on. So actually, me first sort of couple of days, I end up, a couple of boys looked after me from the full. Mick Vella, Matt Peterson, Luke Burt found me eating lunch in my car one day in the car park.
No way.
And they were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I was literally eating a sandwich from home. This is how sad it is, man. Yeah. And then, they picked me up and said, get over here.
And so what did you say anything to them, or were you just like, chilling?
Yeah, I was too scared to say anything.
Really?
I was just eating my lunch. I just thought it was not normal. Because, back then, we train in the morning, and say if weights were in the afternoon, we'd have lunch. We might have a 2-hour break or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go have lunch, and then there'd be a couple of weights groups and stuff like that in the afternoon. So I didn't even know what the sort of routine was. Boys were taking off, going to a cafe or going somewhere. And we didn't have a lunchroom. So I just sort of was sitting in my car. And they found me, I know. But
where did they take you?
Mate, it was embarrassing. They took me. So, look, I was a real straighty 180 as a kid. No exotic foods or anything like that. It was pretty plain, sort of plain at home.
I was similar, yeah.
So, Mick Vella, real husky voice, like this. What are you doing? He was real bad, right? Get over here. So he pulls me over. I'm still great mates with them guys today, him and Matty Ferguson. So, and they took me to one of these sort of Asian places, had all the dead ducks and that lined up out the window. And I said, mate, what is that? Like, I can't go in there. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what animal it was.
Yeah, okay.
I was just blown away.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy experience.
Yeah.
So went in there. It's that funny. They still take the piss out of me today about it. But, mate, those guys saved me.
Yeah.
And it brought me out of my shell a little bit because they used to get me to do, used to play little pranks on people, and I'd be their little errand boy, I guess.
Oh, no.
Pranks, but it just made me feel part of it.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
It was good, man.
Did you ever get pulled up one of the pranks, caught?
No, never.
Never?
No, never. They always blame Vella. They wouldn't blame me. He was a massive prankster. He was out there. They probably don't exist anymore, to be honest. It's it's a bit sad they don't have guys as sort of.
They're the old school guys that bring
mate,
in.
They were old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were old school. They, if things weren't going well, not results wise on the weekend, they would we'd have a bowls day on a Tuesday in dress up with beers.
Really?
Do you know what I mean?
Old
Like
school.
it would, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden they'd win 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Like, I know the game's changed.
Mate, I'm telling you, there's nothing that brings the boys together than a few beers together. Not talking footy, not talking nothing.
No, it's perfect, mate. But
Yeah.
like I said, the GPS sort of dominates everything at the moment. But I still think there's space for some of that stuff, especially like building connection with players and that.
Well, you look at the best clubs. Melbourne and Roosters still have that hierarchy. Like, it's respectful. It's nowhere near as,
Yep.
But, you would know better. You were at the Storm. But they still have that traditional, if you're not a senior player, you better shut your mouth and listen to the senior players.
They, the young kids, when I was there at the time, if anyone asked for their opinion, they probably, big chance they wouldn't give it straight away.
Yeah.
The older boys spoke, and
Yeah.
like you said, the amount of respect you had in that sort of hierarchy, that doesn't exist everywhere though, mate. It's
no.
it's a special club down there.
It's really interesting because, you were sitting in the car eating your food. What's weird is that back in those days, you didn't call it anxious or anxiety. You were just the
No.
quiet kid.
Mate, that's what I call it that now. Looking
Yeah.
back, at the time, I just thought I was a normal kid.
I had the same situation, bro.
Yeah, I was nervous about getting in trouble at
Yeah.
school. Like
Yeah.
I was nervous about getting in trouble off my parents. So that was the last thing I wanted to do was upset anyone or disappoint them. Like I used to do things at the time that I didn't really want to do, but I did just so it will make people happy. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that helped me probably become the player that I ended up becoming once I broke away from that.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had a similar situation at the Broncos where they thought that I was just like this, I guess, loner, arrogant kind of kid that didn't want to hang with them. But I was sitting there going, oh, I don't think they want to hang with me. So I don't want to disrespect them and just like invite myself or whatever. Yeah. And it took the exact same, kind of scenarios of, I mean, the Broncos were a bit more aggressive about it. The way they brought you in was by putting shit on you.
Yeah.
So like they would just constantly put shit on you until you either broke or you realise like, oh, okay, like I'm part of the boys here now.
Mate, I was so far out of the first grade side. I think I probably didn't get the shit put on me too much because I was still playing. I think I was still playing like sort of under 20s or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was, like I said, probably just making up the numbers. I was just there, just there as an experience. There was no plan for me to sort of play first grade that year, but mate, it was actually so good for me.
Mate, it's changed so much. Okay, so but you also in your last year of high school, you also captained the Australian side.
Yep.
What was that experience like?
Mate, it was unreal. So not a whole heap. I suppose went on to have huge NRL careers. Or GI obviously did.
He went all right.
He went all right. He was pretty good. But mate, we played against an England side that had James Graham in it. It was a super time playing with those guys, and there's still guys in that team that we just sort of you're friends with, forever. So we didn't get to travel, which was at the time we were fuming, but it was based in Australia. So but yeah, it was just a great experience, man.
Putting on that Australian jersey, I mean, far out.
Oh, it was cool, mate. It was cool. Like I said, everything sort of come to me not really easy, but I sort of got to play in all those things as a kid. So I guess which made it more challenging when I just thought that's just what happened, and you just rolled in the first grade, and that's as you got older, you just went up the ranks. But clearly it doesn't work out like that way for everyone.
Because 2004 you captained the Australian schoolboys, and you don't make your debut till 2007. Whereas a lot of kids that are captain of Australia, you're looking at definitely 2006 at the latest. 18, 19 is when you're debuting usually.
Yep. Yeah. We you know what? Well, a few things. I reckon that these days kids do come out of school and debut straight away. They've got that development list and they sort of throw them on there. And then in terms of depth, if anything happens in your squad, they're the next guys up. Where, when I was younger, the reserve grade side was a serious footy side. It was full of first graders, to be honest. Like, anyone could have gone up and played. So I think that's probably why it took me a little bit longer.
Especially in the half position, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a pretty good one in front of him. Timmy Smith was in front of me.
Oh, he was a gun.
He was. How good was he?
Could have been anything. He could have been anything.
He was. I've never seen someone probably be able to, spiral past the ball, both sides at speed, at the line, flat and hard. He was like so silky.
Were you there the year he had like 40 try assists or something like that?
Yeah, I was. So he was. So I played 20s the year before. He played reserve grade, and so he moved up to first grade, and I went up to sort of reserve grade. But mate, he was on fire. It's unbelievable. Like in terms of, and back then, mate, an assist used to be a genuine assist, not like if you kick the ball, 3 people bat it on and touch it, bang, assist from the kick. Mate, this is a genuine assist. This guy was laying them on.
Yep.
He was so talented.
It's interesting because Fox League still use the old measure.
Right.
Like for example, I think it was Sam Walker. He passed the ball out to Tupu, and then Tupu knocked it back in, and Tedesco or someone scored. They gave Walker the assist, whereas the NRL they used the last person to give the ball to the player gets the assist.
Well, I think if I'm kicking the ball over to you on the wing, and it's going to go out in the full, and you jump up and bat it back, mate. That's on you.
That's 100%. But it's just another example of wingers being bloody discriminated against. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick. One day we're going to get the respect we deserve.
You wouldn't want to play on the wing now, mate. You're like a front rower.
No, it's a joke. I don't know how they do
it. Tries around,
we're in a transition period, I feel, when it comes to a winger's value, because like you have to be a front rower, but also an old school winger. And so you get all the shit if you let in tries, but you don't get the raps for being a front rower, and you don't get the pay either.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? 100%. And so like we're in this weird transition phase. It's going to take 1 or 2 good wingers to drive the market price up. But right now, most wingers, and people aren't going to, wingers, you say that, but wingers are underpaid right now, and it's not even a G up to say that.
Mate, it's a specialist position. There's not many people in your squad. There's not many people that would have the ability to be able to have 20 carries, 200 metres, and then finish and to make good decisions defensively. Like you're like an all rounder at cricket. You got to tick all the boxes.
Yep.
So
we'll put it this way: look, where would the Roosters be without Tupu? Where would Penrith be without To'o?
Morris, Tupou, even their centres. Jay Moores, Manu. I think the whole sort of the back five. You have a good back five.
Yep.
You go a long way to win.
So look, I want to start a movement. We want to be appreciated. We're sick of this. Even though I played in a time when wingers could just fucking stand on the sideline and put the ball down.
That's stereotypes.
Okay, so you make your debut 2007, but what was the lead up to that like? Did you know it was coming, or was it a surprise?
I think Finchy was playing.
The great Brett Finch. What was he like coming through?
Oh,
give me
he
something.
Was honestly, one of the funniest characters ever. So he would. I remember, like I said, like I was a nervous kid. We had like an off season or pre-season session up this hill at Terrigal. And it started at like 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning early. So all us younger boys, we sort of jumped in the car early in the morning, drove up from Parramatta to get up there. Finchy went up the night before, and he's had a night out. And he must have he must have went to sleep, just got home, put his kit on, and honestly, he was the best on the hills. And he used to be running up. That's 1 more bourbon for me, 2 more bourbons. He was so, he was just so unique.
Yeah.
To be able to, like physically, he was super fit.
So he chose to go up the night before just because he wanted to get on the drink.
Well, I'm assuming that's the reason.
The assumption is that.
Yeah. But mate, he was that good. Like at fitness, he could just turn it on, mate.
Yeah.
In any state, lack of sleep, tired, under the weather. You know what I mean? And those guys, like I reckon people like that back in the day, like it wasn't a. I reckon now if you did that, like a lot of players would probably be off you. Do you know what I mean? Because, but back then it wasn't like that. Like we were like, wow, hats off, man. Like you.
Yeah, what's funny is
still
that
the fittest.
Yeah, you're still killing it. What's funny is so when I was playing at the Broncos, we had a game and big brother Hodgie, Justin Hodges and Carmichael Hunt, the big dogs. So they were going out midweek, getting on the beers and that. And so the young boys started to like jump on board, and Wayne Bennett pulled us all up, and he was like, "Are you Justin Hodges and Carmichael Hunt?" No. Don't go out.
Do that. Because you couldn't train the next day.
Exactly. Whereas Hodjo on that would come out 2 days later because it was called Uber on Wednesdays. Great night out. Uber on Wednesdays. Bring it back. Oh my God, some great memories.
Backpackers or?
Oh, no, mate, I don't know.
Uni night.
Yeah, whatever it was, there were a lot of lovely young ladies there that wouldn't have spoken to me if I didn't play footy, but I did. So you can't take that away from me. And so they would go out on the Wednesday night, and they were the kings. Just big brother Hodgie in the corner, big Carmichael in the corner, and they would come out on a Friday night because we always get Friday night matches because we're the best club in the comp. And
highest ratings. Get 7-day turnaround. Everyone else has 5, whatever.
Hey, don't blame us. Don't blame us. But yeah, so they would turn around 2 days later, and kill it.
Mate.
And so Wayne literally had to sit us down and be like, oi, you're not Justin Hodges. You're not Carmel. That's their preparation. It sounds absurd, but that's what gets their mental sweet.
It's unbelievable that actually happened, because that just does not happen.
No.
I confidently say across the game that can't
No
happen anymore.
way.
So, those sort of characters and people like that, they're not really in the game anymore, mate.
No, they're not. But like they're wired differently. They need that bit of that leeway. Because if you clamp down to, I remember, like for example, Mick Hancock, and this is a kind of a different example, but he said, there were years when he would train and he would get his body so trim and it would be in perfect nick, and he said he would play shit. And then other years where he would have a little bit of extra fat on him and he would kill it. And he said it was just my mental, everything was just different. Yeah. And it's just weird like that.
I reckon that mental sort of resilience part of it, that, the way training's gone these days as well. Because like I said, a lot of clubs are doing sort of GPS. It's all high speed running and sort of simulates the game, I guess. But years ago you were doing sand hills, big grass hills, long runs, and like in terms of mental resilience, that's the stuff that hurts you.
Oh, absolutely.
To keep going, to not stop, and just find a way. And I reckon that those guys that they had that in spades. They were just mentally so tough.
Yeah, it wasn't even about the distance. It wasn't about the times. It was about who's going to give up and sook. Yeah. And these bros, they're never doing that.
They never did it, mate.
So, it's really interesting to see how things change. Because right now, they, as you know better than I, but they have it down to the second and the heart rate. They literally, you'll sit down at every session and they'll be like, this is where your heart rate was, not good enough or good, you know what I mean?
The sports science, honestly, it's gone so far. From when I first started, even to the point where, mate, this would have been sort of 4 or 5 years ago. It came in where if you hadn't hit your high speed, during the course of the game, they would say, Greenie, you haven't hit any of your high speeds in the last 3 weeks. Like, I need you to do one here at training. So, like, you'd finish training, you hit a high speed, and that was based around injury prevention. Because you need your body to be exposed to it. Like, things like that. You didn't know anything about that.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I'm all for science. I love science. I'm not an anti-science guy. It's great. But sometimes I feel like it takes away, it's gone too far in some areas where agree, that intangible quality that you need as a team that science just can't measure. And again, maybe I just sound like the old grandpa screaming at the cloud.
I don't think so. I'm all for new age stuff and technology. But the game's it's a battle of attrition. It always has been. And I just think that resilience and mental toughness, that capacity is still there and it's still important. And I think that the good teams and the good players have still got a heap of that. So. I reckon it's got a place, certainly, man.
Well, I mean, you look at the two best clubs right now, and obviously you've got Penrith Panthers, but the Roosters and the Melbourne Storm, like I speak about it every week nearly on my podcast, the Roosters have everyone fooled in the sense of, like, just because they're the Roosters, you see them as the glamour club. Yep. They're mongrels. They're tough. Mate. They're a tough club. And it's just because they're the eastern suburbs that we don't associate with them, that kind of tough footy.
Yep.
And Storm, obviously, they're just a mentally fucking tough side.
Yeah. Well, mate, look at that period at the start of the year that Roosters went through. They lost Luke Keary and Jake Friend. Boyd Corder's not playing. They had a heap of injuries, and it just shows how tough that footy club is. They just found a way to get through it. They didn't have excuses. The coach didn't make any excuses for them, and they just all their games were won purely on effort. So they're doing things right.
Absolutely. And they're proof that old school mentality still has a place in the game.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Okay, so the debut, how did it come about?
Yeah, so back to that. Finchie, I think Finchie might have rolled his ankle or sprained his ankle in the game before. It got to sort of like, Wednesday or Thursday, and he wasn't right for the game. So Michael Hagan was coach at the time, and just said, like, you're in. So
was it a surprise or not really? As in, you were the next up?
I felt in my head, I felt like I was the next up. Yeah. Yep. So, it went really good. We won, maybe 36-6 or 30-6 or something.
No way, debut.
Honestly, I think the first set of the game, Heine scored a try. Actually, first set of the game, like tackle 3, something ridiculous.
How good!
And everything just kept happening for us. It was actually, a sort of softer introduction to first grade because after that nothing happened as easily as that did. It's just one of those games.
And so, what do you remember specifically about the game? Is there any moments, running out, the crowd, your family, anything?
Yeah, it's you know, as special as it was, I just remember my first jersey. I remember, obviously, I was living at home then, so I remember being at home during the day with mum and dad. All my family came to the day. I went to school with Chris Inu, who made his debut. I think he made his debut for the Kiwis about 2 weeks beforehand, before he played first grade or something like
What?
that. It was crazy. He got picked for the Kiwis at fullback, and he was playing reserve grade in the centres for us.
No way.
So, and then he ended up getting in, so I got to play next to him, which was great. It was a special moment.
Yeah,
It was
that's
cool.
And was that also so? Did Hayne debut that year or the year before?
Year
before.
He came on the scene on the wing. He was just going so good.
His bike pants, those blue bike pants he's had.
And his techniques, his
mate.
running technique, real stiff and straight.
Yep. Okay, so you make your debut, but you sign with the Sharks on a 2-year deal. What prompted this? You know, you debut with Parra, you play 6 games. Seems like everything's going really well.
Yeah, well, I just thought, like you said, because when I say debuted late, I was 20 years old, but I was in a rush. I thought I was, I thought I was ready for first grade. I was like, I played reserve grade for 3 years, you know, as 18, 19, 20. I thought I was ready, and they had Finchy and Timmy in front of me. PJ Marsh, John Morris was at the club. There's a lot of people there, you know.
Yep.
So I just thought, I probably need to find another opportunity. So, I went to Cronulla. I thought that was, the best sort of option for me at the time. But yeah, that one didn't work out either.
It's I just wish I had someone to tell me when I was younger, mate, you got time. Someone in an advisory role to just sit me down and be like, I know you think that you should be first grade this, because I was similar to you. I thought, oh shit, I've debuted, then I've got to be there, and then I've got to be in here. It's just, I just can't, I feel like probably now they're better at mentoring the young guys and telling them, you've got years, you know?
To be in hindsight, it would have been a better decision for me to stay at Parra, learn me trade, just bide me time. But the way things panned out, Finchy ended up leaving and going to Melbourne might have been halfway through that year, or the year after. Timmy ended up moving on, Johnny Morris ended up, PJ, everyone just ended up moving. I was stuck with no one. But, like I said, I was in a rush. I thought I was ready, and I wasn't. So more mentally, I wasn't ready. I was a soft, gentle kid. So I wasn't ready for what was coming.
Well, you need life to just toughen you up a bit, I think, sometimes.
Yeah. Well, mate, it's a different sort of, pathway that I went, the way that I sort of went in my career. But, it was the best thing for me, because it actually toughened me up. It teach me to be, I was on my own. And look, that's how I developed my own sort of resilience.
Okay, so you sign with the Sharkies. You play 19 games, so it's still your most consistent, period of footy when it comes to first grade. So were you happy with your form, or did you feel that you were playing but you just weren't delivering?
No. I'd play a reserve grade game and kill it. I'd play first grade and I was no good. And I knew that. I couldn't really describe it at the time. It was like I used to get a little bit of stage fright and bright lights. Oh my God! It was just, I dreamed as a kid my whole life to be a first grader, and then it was like, shit. Here I am, and it's just stuck, So, and at the time, like I said, because I was a soft kid, I was a little bit intimidated by Sticky as coach at the time. He scared me a little bit. So I wish, one of my biggest things is I wish I got to have him as a coach as I got older, to show him that I'm not a soft kid anymore.
Oh, really?
Because
Sticky was your coach.
Yeah, Sticky was
and he
coach.
was relentless. But
he was ruthless.
Yeah.
But that's how he was back then. But I wasn't ready. I wasn't a first grader, and I wasn't built strong enough to handle him. But I wish I had him when I got older, just to show him that
you can handle it.
I can handle it now,
mate. Many have fallen under the ruthless Ricky. But it's still incredible what he's done at the Raiders. But he is definitely renowned to be ruthless. So you go to the Canterbury Bulldogs.
Yep.
You play 18 games in the halves there, and your form picked up a bit there.
So I actually started to play some better footy there. I was pretty much like the utility at the club. I was coming off the bench, just playing everywhere. I didn't get to play in the halves a whole heap. I played sort of a bit of 13, back row, just in the middle of the field. I really didn't get given a position. They'd just throw me on, do my best. Whatever happened. So, but during the course of that year, I got offered a deal to go Justin Morgan was head coach at Hull KR. He rang me and said, we need a 5'8", would you be interested? And, I was 23 at the time. They had Ben Roberts and Ben Barber there. Brett Camorley was there. I was down the list. And I thought, listen, this is my chance. Like I need to go over there. Because I probably wasn't seen as NRL half anymore. I was probably on the scrap heap a little bit, to be honest. So I thought this is my chance to go over there, knock out some games as a half. I'm going to play as well as I can, and try and come back and be better for it.
And so you took the deal.
Yep, took the deal.
And what do you think? Did you go over there and immediately make impact, or like what did you learn over there? You know what I mean? What was the process like for you?
Mate, it was really different. Like when I first landed there, like it was like it was like being at a park footy club, to be honest. When I first got there,
wow.
Like a demountable classroom was the gym. It was, mate. My training gear was, a couple of years. It wasn't even the same as the gear everyone else had. It was left field.
What?
I know. Honestly, you would spin out. But lovely people, salt of the earth people, terrific. The fans were unbelievable. I still keep in touch. A heap of fans still talk to me from
really?
Hull KR.
Yeah, good.
Awesome people. But yeah, it was it was just such a cool experience, mate. We got to go watch Man United train when I was over there. So for someone like me, I'd seen English football on TV. I didn't know a whole heap about it. Obviously knew who Wayne Rooney, Sir Alex Ferguson. I knew who these people were. But in our first pre-season at Hull KR, we caught a bus straight to Man United and watched them train.
Wow.
I was just blown away. They've got 16 fields, all underground heating, so when it sleets, it just melts. Like it's proper high end.
That we're not even close to yet.
No
not even
way,
close.
Mate. And this was in 2011. We're just 10 years ago. And I don't even know what it would look like now.
Well, I went over there in 2000 and maybe 3 or 4 for soccer, and they had underground heating then.
Mate.
So that's like fucking 16, 17 years ago.
Well, Alex actually, mate, he was terrific. Look, when you sort of paint a picture of someone, you don't know anything about him. I thought he was going to be, the gaffer over there. He was going to be sort of a hard, stern person. He was like, come over, real friendly, open, was telling us stories about players. Paul Scholes was there at the time. And he was telling, we were saying, who's the best you've ever had? What was Ronaldo like? What was, all these sort of questions, all the Pommy boys were asking because they were frothing. They loved it. And he was telling us a story about Ronaldo. He goes, when Ronaldo was first here, he said he'd come out to the car park. By the way, the car park's full of
like Ferraris.
It's
Crazy.
Charts, he comes out to the car park and the whole squad's in a circle around Ronaldo, and he's juggling the ball, bang, bang with his feet, stopping it like with his head, chesting it, boom, boom. And he's walking one way over to this circle, and he sees Paul Scholes, who was like super, super competitive, old school, and he's seen him walking across, and he comes straight out. As Ronaldo's juggling it, he just goes, boom, just catches the ball, and everyone like freezes, stops, and he just spins it, bounce, bang, strikes the ball, and it goes like 30 metres and hits this telegraph pole in the middle of the fields. Everyone just stopped and looked, and he goes, come see me when you can hit him like that.
Oh, wow.
It's a nudge like that. And, mate, when we were there, mate, when he told us that story, I just could not stop staring at that Paul Scholes and watch him train. And, mate, he was just on another level.
Wow.
I know, like, being from Australia, that wasn't a name that, I only knew people that were scoring goals. Do you know what I mean? So,
and Paul Scholes at that stage would have been a little bit end of his career.
Yep, he was at the back end.
Yep.
He was at the back end. He was ruthless, mate. He was doing some rehab running while I was there. And he was just like, he was spraying everyone, which it's not that type of culture. A lot of them,
soccer's way different to footy. Trust me,
it is so different. And a lot of them couldn't even speak English. I didn't.
Yeah,
even
it's true. Yeah, it's so true.
Crazy. How they did it, but that was such a cool experience.
Far out. The great Ronaldo go down as one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest.
The greatest, man.
And he's in the car park juggling. Skullsy's just filthy.
Just nailed one. Hit this.
Okay, so what was it like the derby game? Because is it Hull FC versus Hull KR?
Honestly, it was so good. So if you walked in, so they got like our Woolies and Coles, they got sort of Asda and Tesco, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So the Hull split. Hull is split in half, east and west. I played for Hull KR's east. If I walked into West Hull, into like the shopping centre, especially on Derby week,
Really?
they would yell out a heap of stuff like
Yeah,
drop off green, get out of here, Hull KR, way wanker. They would do it, mate. It was crazy. It was crazy.
So it's just
They
a
are
different
so
level.
passionate.
Yeah.
And it was just like bragging rights because the city's split in half. It was just bragging rights. So even the butcher I used to go to was in West Hull, and mate, I'd go there and he'd be into me. Everyone would be into me, and if we won, I'd go in there, Cheshire Cat, just smiling. It was,
out.
but mate, they'd get 20,000 of those games.
Yeah,
sell out, singing, just relentless. Like they're not. They're not spectators like us in Australia. They're fans.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are chanting the entire time.
Crazy.
So
You know, hopefully one day we can get to the point where we're similar-ish to them, because that's just like so crazy to see the atmosphere of it.
it's next level, man. It's next level.
What's it? Because you've played in grand final here and that. So
Yeah.
what's the feeling like comparatively?
Well, I've got a bit. My memory of I won the Super League one, so that was a better
Yeah.
memory than we got
Then, yeah,
beat
got
in the
beaten,
NRL.
yeah.
But it was played at Old Trafford, and they literally just sung the whole time. Like it was just so.
Was it sold
loud.
out, Old
It was
Trafford?
yeah, sell out.
Wow.
Sell out. Mate. It's an iconic
Yeah.
ground.
And you scored the try to go 24-16, I think it was, to push you out to, because you come back from, it was like 16-4 or something like that.
Yeah, we were down. Mate, we got smoked early on, so we were. I think we were down 16.
Was that the first year you were over there?
First year at Wigan.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
First year at Wigan. So you went to Hull KR,
Yep.
and then you signed with Wigan.
So when I was at Hull KR, mate, things just fell into place for me. And I had a really good year. And then I got an inbox on Twitter. I literally just started a Twitter when I went over there.
Yeah.
I'd never had really social media. I got an inbox on Twitter from a radio station, and the guy, this radio guy, said, "Hey up, Chris Radlinski, CEO, Wigan, asked, can he have your number? Is that all right?" I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
I still gave him my number anyway. My phone rang, bang, 10 seconds, I reckon. As soon as I gave it to him, he must just send it on. Boom, my phone rang.
Yeah.
And he just said, would you like to play for Wigan? I was like, oh, mate, I'm still contracted here, Hull KR. And he goes, oh, listen, mate, don't worry about that. Do you want to play for the Wigan? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And before I know it, I was sold. Transfer fee.
Yeah, because it's
later.
different there, eh? They can just pay for
Yeah,
you.
you could be under contract for a multi-year deal, and they just work out a transfer fee and pay it. And they're privately owned clubs. So mate, the owner of Hull KR, Neil Hudgell, he was fantastic with it. He was like, mate, this is a great opportunity. You've come over here to go back and play the NRL. This is a big club.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get a bit of money out
Yeah,
of
a
it
bit of
too.
cash,
He was happy as well.
Good
So
business transaction for him.
that's it. It just worked out. And then straight there. So first year at Wigan, it was an intimidating place. Wigan are known for signing big names, and I was a nobody.
Yeah.
The list of Australians that have played for that club. And the last person that they recruited in the halves was actually Finchy.
Oh, no
So,
way.
they had someone that had played, I don't know how many games he played, probably 200 games before
Yeah.
he went over there.
Yeah.
They had
And Origin and everything.
Yeah, they had a big namer.
Yeah.
So slotting in there, it was a little bit of pressure. My first sort of exposure to pressure to perform, but Michael Maguire went to that club before I got there and pretty much took the blueprint from Melbourne there. So they trained really hard. Everything was in place. And it just worked out.
So Madge was your coach?
No, so Madge got an offer to go. I went there. Madge got an offer to go to South.
Oh,
And
okay.
he left, and the assistant that was under him, Sean Wayne, who's now the England coach.
Oh, really?
Terrific coach.
Yeah.
He took over, and and we just kicked goals from then.
And so you make the grand final for Wigan. And who'd you play in the grand final? Was it Hull?
So we played. So that year they have like the Challenge Cup that year.
Yep.
So we won that year as well. It was like
Against Hull. Against Hull,
Hull, yeah.
At
That was
Wembley.
so that's like the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Like in football. So I remember Finchy telling me actually when we made Wembley, he said like, mate, anyone that's a big deal, only the big deals will play at Wembley.
Yeah.
He said like U2, Queen. He was rattling them off. He
Yeah.
knew everything about it. I had no idea about any of that stuff, but. I think there was like 78,000 there. It was a
Far out.
We bust down. We stayed at this real fancy like country club. It was like so out of this world, man.
So how did you going from a guy that was struggling with anxiety and doubt with his footy career to a guy leading a team in front of Wembley? You know, what did you do in transition internally to prepare yourself to become the man that needed to be the leader?
I think it was just a confidence thing. When I got to Hull KR, I had a couple of senior players around me, like Ben Galea, Clint Newton, Jake Webster, Michael Dobson, Mick Vella was there, and they gave me a real simple role. The more I executed, the more confident I got, and I started trying more things, and things were coming off, and I just started to understand the game a bit. When I went to Wigan, I had two coaches, really sort of well-known halves, you know, over there. Yeston Harris, Paul Deacon. You might remember Paul Deacon playing halfback for England, kicking goals.
Name rings a bell.
Mate, and they taught me everything about the game. So, you know, I just kept learning and becoming better. And when you start winning, you know, you feel like you can do sort of anything. So
that kind of gave you the confidence to go to. So you win the Challenge Cup in 2013. And was that the same? So it works out. You win the Challenge Cup. How does that propel you towards the grand final? Or that has nothing to do with the grand final?
Yeah, so that's separate. So it's like I was saying about the FA Cup and the Premier League sort of thing. So like the Super League is the competition, and the Challenge Cup's like every team in Europe knocked out. So like we could end up playing. It'd be like you know, it'd be like the Broncos playing. I don't know.
Wynnum Manly or something like that. In Q Cup.
They could draw them, and if Wynnum gets drawn out first, it's Wynnum's home game.
Oh, really?
So the Broncos have got to go there and get heckled and try and win. If they lose, they send some young kids down.
Yeah.
And they get beat, they're out. That's it.
Wow.
You know? So
far out.
It's the history behind it's massive. It can be a bit of a fairy tale story for some clubs too. You know.
Yeah.
So,
like the FA Cup, you know, someone can come out of nowhere and just win it, and it's
Yeah.
Okay, so the grand final though, you go out. What do you remember? You're in Old Trafford. You know, you come out and you get towed up in the first 20 or 30 and you're down. What's that feeling like on the field?
Yeah, so we come out. I just remember walking out onto the field, like walking out to Old Trafford. I'd never been there before. I never watched a soccer game there before. Went there, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Heaps of flames coming up. Like you just feel the energy in the stadium. And first set of 6 of the game, I thought to myself, I'm gonna have to. I was twitching. I was shaking big time. I thought I'm gonna have a run here. Just get tackled, just get myself into
absolutely,
it. You know what I mean? So I had to run, get tackled, and I get punched in the head by Ben Westwood, and mate, my eye socket's gone. And they've stopped the game, come over, and I literally the first thought went in my head. I thought like I'm gone here.
Yeah,
this is it. Got to go off. It's all over. And Paddy Richards played on the wing. I was real good mates with Paddy. He came over and he said a few things to me. He just said, mate, you need to hang tough here. Like hang tough, we'll win this, and mate, we end up hanging tough. We copped a little bit of punishment in the first half, and we were getting bashed up, sort of 16-0, and then mate, we come out in the second half, and everything we did just come off. The crowd was just getting louder and louder. The crowd was cut in half Wigan, half.
Far out.
It was unbelievable.
Do you remember the try you scored to put you out in a comfortable lead?
Yeah, I remember the try. We were pretty structured, ran similar plays, and I just sort of showed the footy and sort of slid through. I just remember just the energy in the stadium. I'd felt nothing like that before, so it was addictive, mate. And I just wanted more of it, you know. So that season was probably the first time that I felt like a genuine first grader, and I could sort of play in anything.
And so what's the feeling like? The buzzer goes, you win your first grand final.
Oh, mate, we had...
and you won the Harry Sunderland trophy as well?
Yeah, so, mate, it was, like I said, it's every kid's sort of dream, that type of stuff. So it was a good year, mate. My son Boston was born that year. We were the first team to win the double, for a while, the Challenge Cup Super League sort of double. So
you played the whole game with a fractured eye socket?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So... it wouldn't, the way the rules are these days, I would have to go off HIA.
Oh, mate, that would have shut the whole comp down.
It would have just shut my favourite moment in my career. It would have been gone.
Yeah.
So like, it was like I said, it was literally a fairy tale, mate. What dreams are made of, sort of thing. So, mate, we went back to Wigan, and mate, Wigan is a rugby crazy town. Plenty of people there supporting us. It was. when we come back, the Challenge Cup was probably the most, the end of the season, the Super League one was huge, as it would be, but the Challenge Cup one's a unique celebration because there's still like sort of 6 weeks to go. So when we were coming back from that, we're on the bus back to Wigan, which is sort of 4 or 5 hours. We had a heap of drinks on the bus and good time. We're about an hour out, and coach stands up and says, we're gonna go on the field at the DW, which is Wigan's home ground. We're gonna go on the field half time. I think it was Bolton Wanderers, Wigan Athletic. They were in the Premier League at the time, and we're going to get presented to the crowd with the trophy. And like the Pommy boys were a mess, right? Disaster. It wasn't going to be good. So we get out on the field. As we come out on the field, presenting, the crowd's really nice, sort of just clapping and stuff like that, because there's a bit of rivalry between Wigan, like rugby league, and the soccer side of things. You either go for one or the other in the town. Everyone's clapping really nice, and all the sort of guys on the bench for Wigan Athletic are out there warming up and kicking the ball around, and Paddy Richards just goes out onto the field, we're waving, and there's a guy practicing some free kicks. Paddy just runs in behind him, just strikes one, and just goes top right.
No way.
Straight in. Goalie doesn't even save it. The crowd erupts, mate, and it's like it brought everyone together. They actually, they started to love the footy players. So, mate, it was just one of the funniest, most bizarre times.
Fuck. What a moment for Paddy Richards. He's like, I'm going for it.
That funny. I'm going for it. Just boom, just struck it. He's athletic too, Paddy. He can kick a ball. Yeah, just whack, top right.
Did he go nuts? Was he doing these ones?
He was celebrating deluxe, mate. So
I wonder if there's footage of that. That'd be so good to see.
I wish someone did. It was such a good strike. We come straight out of that onto a sort of one of those open top buses into town. There would have been, there was thousands of people in town. So it was just a dream, mate.
Far out. I mean, it just all the other things that happen around it too. It's so good. The cool stories like after the win as well. Paddy Richards on the field scoring goals.
He had 8 years at Wigan. Paddy. He was a great. You know what I mean. They named the video room after him when he left.
Oh, really?
Mate, and
they love him over there.
Mate, probably Bradley Wiggins at the time he won the Tour de France 2013. So he's a massive Wigan fan. He's got the Wigan tattoo on his arm of the crest. He came in when Paddy left, signed his yellow jersey and gave it to him. So,
wow.
Mate, it was thinking back at some of that stuff. It's just just surreal. It's some of those soccer players like Rio Ferdinand, Wayne Rooney. They're massive footy fans. They'd come in change rooms after games. It's just so ridiculous. Out of this world. Some of those, when you're in Australia, those athletes, you think, you just can't reach them. They're
untouchables.
They're untouchable.
Yeah.
Mate, they just love footy so much.
Sick.
They love the contact part. It's crazy,
man. Okay, so you make the grand final the next year, but you lose that year?
Yeah.
St. Helens?
Yeah. That's that infamous one. The knockout of Lance O'Hire in the fight. You might have seen that.
Oh, yeah. I seen the punch. That was the grand final.
Yeah, that was the grand final. So, yeah, it was. So
how did that come about? The fight, so he got dog shotted, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, it's touchy subject.
Yeah. He did. Oh, it's a touchy.
Yeah, he did. No. Well, mate, it was sort of first minute of the game, first set of the game, and just sort of, I guess, aroused.
The boys are all pumped up.
Boys were pumped up.
Yeah.
Boys were pumped up. Yeah. So. Yeah, it wasn't ideal, mate. You know what? We put up a decent fight. We were obviously down to 12 men. I think we were up 8-2 half time in front.
Yep.
We ended up getting beat, sort of 14-8 or something.
Far out.
Yeah, it was
far out.
It was a tough one to swallow, mate.
Absolutely.
Tough one.
Because he was killing it, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough one.
Damn. Okay, but that's when you sign a deal with Melbourne Storm?
Yep. Yeah, so that was my chance, mate. Come back. I thought, obviously, huge club. But the same system I was in, I sort of thrived under that system.
Yep.
I just thought for me to come back and be an NRL player again, try and be successful as one, I needed to be in the best system. So that's how it came about. Yeah.
And what was the initial? You rock up to the Melbourne Storm, and then Notorious have their own systems, everything like that. What was that initial feeling like? What did you notice immediately?
Standards.
Yeah.
The young kids are in, they have the same, it's pretty well documented, but they have if you're new to the club, the first 2 weeks you work.
Yep. Did you have to work?
I did, because I played in the grand final, I didn't get back till later. I missed the work period.
Thank God.
Oh, mate, these anyone, it doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah.
You'd be 28, you're in the
Wow.
club, and you work for 2 weeks, train in the morning, work, train the Arvo, and it's old school training.
Yeah.
There's you get touched up.
Yeah.
So they do that, and then they have the army camp for all the new players before Christmas. So mate, all those things would just it sets the tone for the club,
And it weeds out any weak people as well.
Oh mate, it does. It does. But it brings everyone closer together too.
Yeah.
Even the ones that don't think that they're strong enough, and they might start the first day or, the first night of that camp, and you think, oh, he's not going to handle it, mate. They find a way.
Yeah, find a way.
They find a way. And that's why they're so successful at bringing people in, particularly from their Q Cup feeder clubs. They come in and just play a role. And look at Nico Hines.
That's crazy.
He was down the list in terms of depth, but mate, how good is he?
Oh, he's one of the best fullbacks in the comp right now.
Right.
It's
You know what I mean?
crazy.
It's
crazy. Okay, so that year you play. Is it that year you play every match and you go to the grand final against the Sharkies?
No, so that year we get knocked out in prelim by the Cows. The year the Cows won it.
Oh, yeah, 2015. But 2016,
16,
you win the minor premiership.
Yep.
And you played centres, didn't you, in the grand final?
No, I played six that year as well.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
And then
Chase Blair. Sorry.
Chase Blair.
Yeah. Sorry.
And then we lost the GF. So
What was that like? What was that whole year like for you? You're living your dream. You end up winning the minor premiership, grand final.
To be honest, that was the one. It's the one thing. I wouldn't say it's a regret, because I could you can't change the result and things like that. But it would have been cool to have. I was lucky enough. I got to play in all those sort of I don't know what you call them, like milestone games, I guess. Like grand final in both places, Challenge Cup and a World Club. But it would have been nice to win all of them. So
Yeah.
but the fact I got to play, mate, it was so it was tough to swallow. But mate, full house, 2 tries each, I think.
Yep.
Sharkies, just 14-12, man, too good.
What do you that last 5 minutes?
Oh, it was chaotic,
Mate, walk me through
I've
it.
never watched it back, to be honest. It was at the time, I reckon there was about 3 or 4 times I thought, are we going to score? We got them.
Yep.
Mate, they just scrambled so hard,
Yep.
just found a way. So, it was a tough one. Obviously, a good story for the NRL. Felt like everyone in the NRL wanted them to win that game,
Mate, I just see, it's just like because they've been so dominant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and every year if the Storm are winning it, everyone's like, man, I just want someone else to.
Yeah, I
so,
know.
I get like from your perspective, like, hey, what? Just because we're good, just because we're good.
Mate, it happened every year. Every year we get to the finals and it would just come out as a Storm. They're wrestling everyone's head off. The tactics, Cam Smith. Honestly, they just ran a campaign against Smitty every time we had a finals. Or
every time it's disgusting.
On the back of
Honestly,
Origin,
disgusting. Yep.
they'd run a campaign on Origin. They come at him as well.
Yep.
Disgraceful.
Disgraceful.
It is because he's. Well, everyone's got their own opinion. He's the greatest we've had. So
Most decorated, and he's getting treated like
man.
a piece of shit when he's literally the most decorated player we've ever seen.
I know, mate. I know. So he did well to handle all that, to be honest.
Better than me, that's for sure.
Yeah. So he's mate, I've got a really good relationship with Smitty. When I first come to Melbourne, he was injured in the pre-season. His wife Barb used to have me, Sarah, over every Wednesday night for dinner. So when things like that used to happen to me, it used to upset a few of us, to be honest. But it was like clockwork.
Mate, you could almost expect it, guarantee. And it's just crazy that these people can just write whatever they want. Like what I'm not understanding is like Cameron Smith is arguably the most valuable product of our game because he's the most decorated. The players are the product. And like if you're higher up and your product's getting disrespected, it's the only only business in the world where your product can just get slandered and you do nothing about it. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh yeah, sweet. Like my product's getting fully slandered for no reason.
It's like it created more attention for the game or something. I don't know. They half enjoyed it. I'm not sure, but
I'm pretty sure the game is going to survive hype without slandering Cameron Smith.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other things to talk about, like young Indigenous lads that are from nothing that just they're on the biggest stage in the yourself, the journey of your own journey. Like it's just
there's plenty of feel good stories, mate. But I don't know how much they sell those headlines. They're not as popular.
Well, you just got to be good at it. Like bloke in a bar is positive and people enjoy it.
Exactly.
You just got to be good.
So what's taken off?
Okay, so that grand final, you obviously that last 5 minutes, So do you remember anything? Is there any like detail that you remember in your mind from that last flurry of plays?
Yeah, I remember Benny Hampton sort of skipped across field and he zipped it out to Marika. I thought, oh, and then we went this sort of last sort of 20 seconds, and then we shifted it back the other way. So both times I thought both wingers were potentially going to score.
Yeah.
And then we got so close at the end. So I just remember the stadium was just all blue. I remember how well they started. They were real physical. I think they head high, like first tackle of the game with the kickoff, and it was just like, wow, it just knocked us.
We're on here.
Yeah, just set the tone.
What do you remember? Any stories about Bellyache? Like any kind of takeaways or one of the biggest memories of your time at the Storm with Bellyache?
Learned heaps off Bells, eh? Not big on detail, just big on effort, big on standards. He sort of the way he lives his sort of day-to-day life, that's just what he expects from everyone else. Like I used to get into training and he'd already be in the gym, flogging himself on the treadmill, coughing and spluttering everywhere. Like he couldn't. It's like he put the treadmill on the fastest speed he could, and he would run
until he couldn't,
and then he would just like hang off it, and just drooling, and then he would then he would just do some bench press as many times as he could, and I can't lift it anymore. That was just him. He was just like balls out, max effort.
Just go to your drop.
Yeah, so that's what he expected from his players.
Yeah,
both his assistants would coach the detail.
Yeah.
And he was just, effort based. And everyone sees him blowing up and angry at the box. He actually isn't like that
in real life
to his team.
Yeah,
like, he doesn't talk like that to his players. Like he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's just disappointed. He's obviously disappointed in things that happen because he knows that if they're capable of more and things like that. So, but that's how me. I guess me love for sort of coaching sort of come about.
Yeah.
I love the way that he coached. He would. He would. I remember I only got 2 sort of sprays from him when I was there, which was pretty good. He chipped me once on a kick chase. I remember he just said pause it there, and I'm thinking, what's he pausing it for? Well, there's nothing really that bad.
Yep.
And he used to love a certain amount of numbers in the kick chase line.
Yeah. And
he just paused it, and I reckon Jesse Bromwich was about 2 metres in front of me, so the line sort of went with just a tiny little 2 metre step. He just went, Greeny. I went, yeah. He goes, you faster than Jesse? I said, no, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, then, why are you? I was like, oh, I don't want to say that again. I was like, and to be fair, every game from then on, every time we kicked the ball, I was in my head just panicking.
Yeah.
Because I thought, this is coming. I'm going.
I love the question though.
Yeah,
it's the answer. Yeah. Are you faster than?
Yeah. Oh, mate, he was so funny. So funny. But we used to tease him a heap about he was, he used to wear some trendy clothes, Bells. Yeah. We used to tease him. But, mate, he's actually such a funny character.
Yeah.
So,
I always say, to people, I have no, interaction with Craig Bellamy as a player or whatever, but I always say to people, have you ever seen a blow-up between a player and Craig Bellamy at the club? You've never seen an issue, which shows that he has such good player management skills that are underrated. Like Wayne Bennett often gets credited for it because he does have good player management. And Bellyache, is I think it's softening now, but there were years where he just looked like a ruthless coach.
Yeah.
But I think it was actually disguising the fact that he was one of the best player managers we've ever seen.
Yeah. But he's ruthless on effort.
Yeah.
That's it. There's the difference between saying if you're you need to do this or you need to do that. You need to come up with this player. What was that? What were you trying to do? He would never talk like that. That just didn't happen. But if he knew that you had more in you and you weren't doing it tonight, he would let you know that.
Yeah.
So, and he would, like I said about the detail, he understands the detail.
Yeah.
That's probably not a fair thing to say, but he would get you in and say, hey, Greeny, see that there? Mate, do more of that for the team. I love that. Or, hey, mate, don't really like this. Don't do that. So,
really simplified the message.
Really simple. You're really simple. And like I said, the detail was from the assistant. So, Adam O'Brien was his assistant, Seabold was his assistant, and both of them, they're really good coaches, mate. They're really smart. They know what they're talking about. So, they did all the detail for the team, and he brought everyone together. So, that's why he is the best,
And so that year, you signed a 2-year deal with Manly.
Yep.
To partner with the great DCE. Was that just opportunity? What was the purpose for that?
Well, mate, to be fair, I was just a foil at Melbourne. I just thought it was just was in the support act for Cam and Coops.
Yep.
And this was opportunity for me to play on the ball as a half. So, the game's obviously changed now, but I was going to, sort of play on the ball and have Tom and Daly, sort of humming down the edges. So it suited me. Wasn't overly fast, but I understood the game really well. And to be honest, probably the most fun I've had, playing footy in that playing group. They were just, that cool to be around.
Yeah.
We had plenty of good times together. It was really different culture, at Manly compared to Melbourne. So, we still had a good time at Melbourne, but these blokes were old school, mate. They trained hard. They liked to have a beer.
Yeah.
It was the first time I went there. I felt like it was a Mad Monday drink the first time I went there. Like it was just like lunchtime, bang. It was just on. But then that was on a Friday or something.
Yeah.
Mate, that Monday, like
ready to go.
It was like 10 k's worth of running, and they were just non-stop, relentless, competing hard. So it was just completely different, but just a hilarious bunch of boys, man.
Yeah.
So good.
What do you remember from did you learn anything from Cronk? Like obviously you learned something from Cronk or Slater. What are you, one of the biggest takeaways you took from a guy like Cameron Smith or Cronk or a Slater?
Well, the three of them are really different. Bill, to be honest, he could just do it all, man.
Yeah.
He was so fit, fast, great footy brain, and he could just pop up and do everything, any role. Coop was like really diligent with his preparation, so he loosened a little bit when I got there. Beforehand, he was probably a little bit more strict. But like in terms of, he played principle-based footy, and he knew what he was good at, and he did it really, really well all the time. And then Cam was just so calm and cool.
Yeah.
Just never threw a bad pass from dummy half, picked the right options. When I first got down there, he literally just said to me, Granny, just stand on the numbers line. This is how basic it was, Just stand on the numbers line, and if they leave it with a 4-on-4, you just stick your left hand out.
Far out.
No, that's just stick your left hand out. It's like, all right. So we get down there, we get to a left post, they split the field up in 6 and 4. Fullback jumps in line Cooper's side, and I just put my left hand out, call for the footy with my left hand, just bullet, bang, left hand.
No
Just,
way.
Don't break stride, straight on the 3-man. So like my introduction back into the NRL,
Oh my
I'd do that,
God.
and I'd literally just wave it and run, or just like wave it and play short,
Yeah.
and it was just so effective. And
Just stick your left hand out. Like
stick your left hand out, man.
for him to know that, like, all right, this is the time, is insanity.
It sounds basic, right? I know it sounds
Yeah,
basic, but to be able to just execute that all the time, consistently on the run, whether I'm deep, flat, I'm moving, standing still, that's why he's
the GOAT.
best,
But it's just crazy that, like, I'm sure there's plenty of players where you stuck your left hand out and he's just gone, nah.
No,
you know what I mean?
He'd go away from me.
And that's what I'm saying. And he would always know.
Yeah. I wasn't in charge of it. I called for it plenty of times. I didn't get it, don't worry. But when I really needed it, I always got it. And the same as everyone else. Yeah.
Because he could see that, 100, we're on here, boom.
Yeah, they were the best. They were the best support act on the field, because Bill would sit behind him and let him know if the wingers were up or back, or where the fullback was. Tell him when to kick, to take one more.
Yep.
Jump and grab a marker.
So Bill's telling Smithy, like, you're good to kick here.
Mate, he would commentate the game. I only got to play 5 games in because he busted his shoulder. I ended up having Munster the whole time, but he would just walk behind you and commentate the game.
Wow.
Granny, you need the ball here, Granny. Play in, play straight. Show inside first. I'm on your left shoulder. He would say all these details to me. I'd literally catch the ball. I'd take 2 steps, I'd show it in, play at the back to Bill. He'd rip it to the winger and go, try.
Far out.
Unbelievable, man.
Mate.
Unbelievable.
You got Smithy just going, just put your left hand up.
I know.
I'll get
That's
you.
what I mean. They held me hand.
Far out.
It was so cool to play on a side like that, and just all the subtleties. Coops taught me heaps of subtleties around the game and showing the footy and all the show in, play out, or play out. All that type of stuff. All the basic principles that he taught me. So that's where I started to just learn a truckload.
Mate, it's crazy. Just,
so cool,
just
man.
stick your left hand
know,
up.
it was
You'll
so
get
cool.
it. You know what I mean?
Cool,
Okay, so you go to Manly. You had a great time there, but in the second year, you get a release and you go to New Zealand. Was that for just an opportunity to lead the team? What was the?
I was going to play in the same role. Manly had like some cap issues at the time.
So there was cap pressure, and so Trent Barrett was like, "Look, this is good to ease our cap pressure, or good,
well,
or not really."
He wasn't overly happy at the start, but he said he was going to do the right thing, by me and my family, I guess. So like it was like I said, it was a good deal for us. So
Yep.
That's sort of how that transpired. So
Because because you're in the second year of your deal, and were they going to re-sign you, Manly, or they just
no? So they weren't going to re-sign me
Okay.
anyway. They said like they just didn't have the space.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, I'll pull the trigger on it now.
Mm.
And I got a phone call from Steve Kearney and Toru Harris, Adam Blair. There's a couple of us that were going over there at the time. So
Yeah. It's good. I mean, it's fair. If you're not going to resign you, they should kind of play with you a little bit to hold you an extra 6 months just for, no reason.
Mate, they were really good about it, to be honest. So I've had such a good time there. It was actually so much fun. I'm really good mates with all those guys still. So but yeah, it was more of a family decision, that one.
Yeah.
So.
And what was it like, playing with a guy like Tommy Trbojevic? Like,
Mate,
is he as crazy as we all see?
I've said this so many times. He's going to be the best player in the game, mate.
Yeah.
If he's not already, he has just got so many attributes. He's just big and fast and strong, and even as a young kid, he just had everything. It was just something about him. Like he trained super hard. He just ticks all the boxes. I love how much better Jake plays when he plays with him.
Yeah, it's crazy,
out of control. Like
two different players.
They're completely different. Completely different. They're different people as well. But mate, he's so special. So yeah, I can't wait to see how he goes in Origin. So I actually like him when he plays centre as well. He just pops up anywhere.
Yep.
He's super talented, man.
He's really good in defence too. An underrated part of his game at centre.
He is, mate. He's actually he's so good he's so footy smart. When he plays fullback, he cuts all the numbers up anyway. So he knows he's a step ahead. He knows what's going on. He jumps in the line. And defends that really well. And then when he comes at centre, he's such a big body. He just sort of just swallows them up with his arms. So he can play anywhere, mate.
So you go to New Zealand. What was the what was it like over in New Zealand? It seemed like you were progressing as a club. It seemed like you were kind of bouncing back from a period where you didn't look like there was any direction. What was it like over there?
Yeah, it was a tough time for the club. They hadn't played finals for 7 or 8 years when I got there. But mate, we had the nucleus to form a really good side, a strong footy club. We got there and it was harder than I thought, to be honest. Just such a dynamic group. They how can I put it? I guess some of them don't. They have so many different reasons why they play footy over there. Like for me and for a lot of sort of guys growing up in Australia, they play footy because they love footy. They played it since they're a kid. They love it. They want to be the best, or they just want to win. They're the reasons. Some of these guys actually don't even like footy that much, but they are super talented athletes.
Oh, incredible!
They're so good. And if I do this job and do it really well, I can provide a life for my family. I get to send money back home. To Samoa or Tonga. And,
they're thinking about their family.
Yeah, they're thinking about their family. They're playing literally. Their why is I just play for my family because I can support them.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing we had to draw out of them was, listen, you don't have to play. You don't have to play for the jersey because not that doesn't have a connotation. There's nothing attached to that. You don't have to play for the jersey. You don't have to play to be the best. You don't have to play because you love it. But whatever your reason is, it needs to be strong enough so when times are tough, you can't, we don't throw the towel in.
Yeah.
Put up the white flag and we fight harder and dig deeper. So that was the first part of the sort of pre-season that when I got there, and it had a bit of an impact, mate. We made the 8 straight away, and we started to win some games of footy.
Yep. And so what was the biggest memory from your time at the Warriors? What was about 2 years you spent there? 2.5 years?
Yep. Yeah, so I did. So I was there into my 3rd year when sort of the COVID thing happened. So, just being a part of embracing the culture, the New Zealand culture. We had heaps of just sort of multicultural days.
Yeah.
I've seen that many huckers and porphyries and
Yeah.
hungies and all that sort of stuff.
Yep. Carver sessions?
Oh, mate, everything.
Yeah.
Well, Rubes was massive on the carver.
Yeah.
Just so many, just genuine good people.
Yeah, they're great
just
over there.
full of them, you
Yeah.
know. They actually care.
Mm.
They're passionate about the club and the game, and they genuinely want everyone to do well. There's no agendas or anything like that. Just lovely people, mate.
It's a much more like, if I felt more family there. It felt very
massively.
family there.
Yeah, massively. So like everyone, yeah, in terms of like connection's a big part for that footy club. Like they need to feel connected and part of it and together. You know, there was no sort of, we didn't really have any sort of hierarchy or anything like that. We were all seen as equals and as one. You know, and that's what we created. We trained hard. That's a bit of a misconception as well. The fact that, you know, everyone sort of assumed that the Warriors weren't fit or they didn't train hard. Mate, that is so far off the mark. It's not funny.
Not true.
It's not funny, mate.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing that helped as well was understanding the game. A lot of these guys play, they get brought over from, they get brought over to New Zealand on a scholarship to play rugby union. And at 15, 16, 17, 18, they're playing rugby union in a school in Auckland.
Yeah.
And then we sign them, they come to the Warriors, they've never played league before.
Yeah.
So understanding the game, just sort of game management, game awareness, when to exert yourself, when you can have a break,
Yeah.
could help manage their energy levels, you know. So that was probably more part of it than, mate, they could just get, otherwise they'd go like a mad dog,
Yeah.
you know, for 10 minutes just chasing everything. And all of a sudden they were just like,
Gassed.
oh my God, I'm gone.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so that was the biggest learn, I reckon.
Yeah.
from.
And so the COVID thing hits, and it kind of seemed like out of nowhere. The CEO, I think, came out and was kind of like, using you and Beale are free to go. How did that all come about?
Well, not the CEO, the owner of the club,
Yeah.
just come out and said he wasn't going to deal with me and Beale were free to go.
Did that come out of nowhere for you?
It did just come out of nowhere. I tipped my whole heart into the club, so it hurt at the time. But I understood what the decision, wouldn't have. It was probably just the fact that it was made public. I guess.
Could have come to you privately and said,
yeah.
"Look, this is the direction we're going."
Yeah, that ended up happening anyway. But it just didn't need to be out there publicly. So, I got an opportunity. Like I said, I loved the place. I still got a heap of friends there. And then I was at the back, obviously at the back end of my career anyway, and I had that opportunity to go to Newcastle, and they were sort of, sitting around that, around the 8 at the time. Went there and sort of strung 3 wins together, and then, did my knee, and
Ormskis.
the rest is history.
What's the best memory of your career, you reckon?
Mate, definitely 2013. Winning both those things, like winning the Challenge Cup and the grand final at 2 of those sort of iconic venues.
Yep.
They were my favourite things. To be able to sort of hold on to those photos and those memories and things like that. That's the best part of it.
It's like, it's hard to, when people say, "Oh, what happened here, what happened there?" A lot of the footy you don't remember, eh?
No,
A lot of the games you don't remember.
A lot of the games, no, they're hard to remember. I had some wicked times, some nights out, some sort of team events, travelling. Mate, over in England at the time, no COVID. Mate, I was that confident in some games. I played for Wigan. We'd had a Thursday. I remember having a Thursday night game against Warrington, which was a big game at Warrington, and we had a few people out. And a coach said to us, "Listen, if you win on Thursday, I'll see you on Monday. Don't worry about it." And I thought, this is bang. I'm out of it. I booked a flight to Tenerife, which is about 4 hours away.
Yeah.
On an island, and mate, I convinced one of the boys to come with me, and he was twitching all game.
Yeah.
And we scored with about 10 minutes to go, and just like wrapped it up, just the feeling of that.
Yeah.
The level of excitement.
Fucking oath.
And then we stayed at my house.
Yeah.
We jumped in a taxi at 4 o'clock to go to the airport the next morning. We had
The dream.
the best 3 days ever. Like, can you believe it? What are we doing? What just happened?
Yeah.
Some of that stuff was just so fun, Pre-season camps. Hey, Wigan, our pre-season camp was 2 weeks in Florida.
What? That's
2 weeks in
crazy.
Florida. We used to train for 5 days, get 2 days off, train for another 5. We went down to Miami for 2 days.
Sick.
That just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
it doesn't seem real.
Nah,
you know,
yeah.
so-
And you're doing something you love, you're getting paid for it.
yeah, it's just ridiculous. Mate.
Yeah,
It's
yep.
ridiculous. So
What about the Warriors situation when when the whole COVID situation? What was it like internally? What was the conversations like when you had to stay in Australia?
Yeah.
How did the boys deal with it?
mate, that was really hard. You know, as you probably know from your experience over there, a lot of our Polynesian boys, they're pretty quiet, pretty reserved. You know, real humble people, but they were nervous, mate. And,
Very family orientated
oh.
too. Something that we just don't understand because it's
Don't
not a
get
part
it.
of our culture.
They don't get it, and I didn't understand it that well. I thought I did. I didn't understand it till I went there. You know, a lot of those guys, if they're the main sort of breadwinner in the family, and they've got 10 kids, 1 of 10, because they have big families, they're financially providing for that entire family. Like, they're under a little bit of pressure there.
Absolutely.
You know? And I don't know if everyone sort of understands that, or you know, so mate, a lot of those guys to be away from them, it kills them. You know?
absolutely.
And they've never been apart. You know, they don't know any different.
Absolutely.
And that worried them, and that whole situation, because I was on that advisory group for the RLPA, just the uncertainty, it scared them. So, and in the end, we had a couple of guys that went home, to be with family, because I guess we took it for granted in Australia. Everyone was like, "Oh, COVID," and you know, sort of toughen up and just crack on with it. People are losing jobs and things like that. That doesn't mean anything. Their job doesn't mean anything to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not what drives them.
Yeah, they're not thinking, oh, you know, how great is. All their thing is, I just want to be with my family.
That's
like, I just
it.
want to see them. And they didn't sign up to be away.
That's exactly right. So, but to voice that and say that, everyone thought that they were making a selfish decision.
Yeah.
But they weren't. It wasn't, you know. So it was hard for everyone to understand.
And it goes all the way back to, you know, when you first came to the club, there are some guys there that aren't playing because they love the footy. They're playing because they're trying to provide for their families.
That's it.
And so, like, if you're over in another country and you're not seeing your family, it's the number one priority to you. Whereas, like yourself, even though it would still suck for you, you're still doing something you just love. You know, you love footy.
I love it. That's me. That would be my thing. My favourite thing to do. Anyway, obviously, I love my family.
Yeah.
But these guys, it
It's
killed
just
them,
different,
so,
yeah. What was it like seeing a great man like RTS deal with something like that?
Oh, mate, he's, you know, when I first got there, you know, he was, you know, captain of the club. As a leader, he just grew so much in that 3 years, mate. He was, he used to, because he's so, he was very emotional, passionate about winning, and he wanted the Warriors to do so well, and he loves winning as well. You know, the first year I was there, he'd often speak pretty erratically, and no detail would come out of information. He was just wanted to, come on, you know, wanted to win.
Passionate, just pure
passion. It would just boom, fire out. And then by the time I left, he turned into someone that could just breathe, you know, just take it in, provide what went on, like give some detail on what went on, what we need to do, just relax. You know, he just changed so much as a leader.
What about being a part of the team, you know, first ever New Zealand Warrior to win a Dally M, and RTS being that man? What was it like to see him do that?
Mate, in 2018, honestly, he was breaking tackles for fun.
Yeah.
He was just breaking them for fun. And there was times there, I think that year, he might have run for 300 a couple of times.
Yeah,
you know, and I know
crazy.
stats aren't everything, but, you know, his 300 metres were different from everyone else's because this bloke was having play 3 as well. For us to play 4.
Exactly.
Like,
Front rower hit ups.
he was doing some stuff like that. And a lot of the time, he was doing it out of necessity because the team was out on their feet. It took playing that style of footy it took away from, I guess, his ability, like every other fullback, to jump on some shape and do the sort of the pretty plays. But he was all heart, man. You know, hence why the boys that were there, you know, stood up and did a haka for him when he got the Dally M.
Such a great man.
So much respect for him.
All right, I do ask all the boys this. Favourite rapper of all time?
Oh, Eminem, man, hands down.
Easy, go.
Hands down.
Go
down.
easy, bro. It's not even a question.
Oh, man. That was my favourite during school. My little fella, actually, I showed him a couple of clips on Eminem, like Just Lose It and things like that. I dyed his hair blonde in the school.
Oh, how good is that? He dressed as Eminem on a dress up.
Yeah,
Favourite movie of all time?
Oh, I love Will Ferrell, so probably like, Step Brothers.
It's a classic.
Old School.
Old School, that's a classic.
Talladega
You're my
Nights,
boy, Blue.
yeah, Wedding Crashers, all that stuff.
Where do you see yourself in 12 months' time?
Hopefully in a coaching capacity somewhere. So I love the game, mate. I love coaching detail, and I'd love to jump on and do that.
Mate, thank you so much for coming on. What a career, bro. What a
good.
career.
Thanks for having me on, man.
When you sit there thinking about it, you're like, bro, I can't believe I did that.
I know. It was a long one to get through. I've been everywhere.
Mate, thank you so much. And yeah, all done. Boom.